So I decided I should do the Devil's Train. So here, my grandpaps was a man of respect, had to sweat just to catch Jack's working from sunrise to every day he get challenged. No trades or challenge, barely scraped by. He found the face to balance the straight line and a pace feeling worn and gray. Poor with 4 seats, one more on the way. It was hard days indeed, all work and no play. He made sure things on the surface were okay, but something disturbing within his mind was lurking. A slight twilight breeze would ease in through the curtains at night. It was like the sermon of a twisted apparition was urging him to listen to the train in the distance. At first it wasn't intense, just one little instance. Sure it didn't occur, he turned to resist it, as if it wasn't more than a figment of his imagination, but for days it was persistent, and it went, "Follow me, follow me, follow me, follow me." Then it got louder, "Follow me, follow me. I have something to show you." With time, people noticed he was acting berserk. Granny got a call saying he was absent from work, and that was at first. She ran to the pastor at church to ask him what was up with this disastrous curse. But bad went to worse. He came back 3 days after, no money in his wallet and his shirt on backwards. Stumbling, walked awkward. He called out for his daughter. Right before he split the last lesson he taught her was this: "If you ever have a son, let him know that his granddad loves him, but by the time he's grown, make sure the seed is sown deep down into his dome. Don't ever walk to the train tracks alone." With that, he backed up and reached for his jacket, told her not to act up, and cracked up laughing. After all that had happened, he left, never to be seen. 15 years later is when my mother had me. Her dad lived a life people can't understand. Went from a family man to rambling man, a gambling man, burned both of ends of the candle. Folded his hands, it was too hot to handle. Sitting on the tracks, waiting for the night train, looking down the road, ain't never gonna go back. Listening for the whistle through the wind and raindrop. Who's gonna ride the Devil's Train tonight? Sitting on the tracks, waiting for the night train, looking down the road, ain't never gonna go back. Listen for the whistle through the wind and raindrop. Who's gonna ride the Devil's Train tonight? When I was a tot, my mom dropped fables and stories to warn me of the dangers that were laying before me. To keep it interesting, she would hide the lesson, to guide my direction, to provide the right message. In time, I developed a sense of her embellishments, and so I was rebellious against what she was telling me. When I was a teen, I pretended that my demons were friends. I defended the place, y'all, that was the case. Slurred speech dripping off of my face. The world creaked as I slipped into the awfulest place you can imagine. Not the average things you see on acid. My granddad bloody hovering over his speaker cabinet, laughing in a raspy tone covered in maggots that snacked on his massive bone. I couldn't grasp it. Did a double dismount off the couch and flipped out. Broke the closest window I found. Then I dipped out. Suddenly, I discovered little voices mumbling up in my head. It had me wondered, what was it my mother said back when I was younger? It had my brain ragged as I stumbled off into the night towards the train tracks. Sitting on the tracks, waiting for the night train, looking down the road, ain't never gonna go back. Listen for the whistle through the wind and raindrop. Who's gonna ride the Devil's Train tonight? Sitting on the tracks, waiting for the night train, looking down the road, ain't never gonna go back. Listen for the whistle through the wind and raindrop. Who's gonna ride the Devil's Train tonight? So there I was, stalking through the dark with a buzz. I figured I should walk. That'll ease me off of these drugs. It's like a shark. Had to keep moving, or it's that or be ruined. If I sat still, I was doomed, and I was doomed. So I marched through the park, slowly gone like Donnie Darko. The sparkle in the sunlight glowed like charcoal. Despite my demeanor, the night seemed more serene than morphine fiend in a mortgage, it seemed. Like it, I lost it. That was when my grandpa's carcass emerged from the dark, gurgling his words of carnage, but he couldn't talk. Something about the birth of sadness. I scurried off. I was on the verge of madness. I raced past places in the landscape was strange like a plane, parallel to the swan, but rearranged. Came to a slope too steep, begging for sleep. As I climbed up, taking the focus off the crease, within the foggy distance I saw a silhouette that got bigger as I stepped. The train tracks were wet. I saw a shiny grin from afar, like it was happy. This is what he said when he started to walk past me. "It's a nice night for a walk. You mind if I join you?" "Do what you want." "Well, that's great, 'cause I'm gonna. Not to annoy you, but see, I really have to ask, what a young dude like you is doing down by the tracks. You waiting on a train? Nah, man, let me explain. Alright, I'm minding my business, so maybe you should do the same. I've just been a witness to something sick and sadistic, so twistedly disgusting, you should feel real lucky you missed it. Ooh, easy with the tongue, son. Try to listen carefully. What you seem scary, but nothing can compare to me. I could show you things that can paint all your dreams haunted. I could make you scream if I wanted. Or it could be the bee in your bonnet, your best friend forever, two peas in a pod flocking like birds of a feather. And you never have a need to beg, work, or steal. If all this sounds right, then let's make a deal. All you want in life for the price of your soul. All the money you can afford, power that you can hold. I'll put you in control. Only if you're down to roll down these train tracks tonight. But where are we gonna go? Sitting on the tracks, waiting for the night train, looking down the road, ain't never gonna go back. Listening through the whistle, through the wind and raindrop. Who's gonna ride the devil's train tonight? Sitting on the tracks, waiting for the night train, looking down the road, ain't never gonna go back. Listen for the whistle through the wind and raindrop. Who's gonna ride the devil's train tonight?